Hey, it's Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty. I had a tummy tuck, and it has been officially 4 months since my procedure, since my abdominoplasty, and I cannot even believe it has been that long. I've had so much go on in the past several months that honestly, I really had to make a conscious effort to take care of myself and to make sure that I was doing everything that I needed to do for myself and for my body, because that is a major cosmetic surgery procedure. So I'm going to just talk about the things that you need to do to prepare for this procedure if you're going to have it done or if you're considering having it done, and the things that you need to do after you've had the procedure done. And then I'm going to show you my after results as we stand today. So let's get into it. Okay, so first and foremost, if you're considering having this procedure done, make sure that you are doing it for you. You don't want to do it because you're trying to, you're trying to impress other people, you're trying to make someone else happy. Any type of cosmetic procedure, whether it's going under the knife or just going into a doctor's office to get a few needles of things pricked here and there, you need to make sure that you're doing it because you want to do it and you're doing it because you want to make yourself happy. You're not doing it for anyone else. So make sure your mindset is right, and to ensure that you're going to be in a good place after you have the procedure done, because you're going to go through a number of emotional roller coasters, and it's very possible that sometimes it could be more than others. If your mindset is not in the right place, then it could be some major issues for you. So make sure you're doing it for you and make sure that your mindset is in the right place. Okay, so you've decided to get the procedure done. So now you need to make sure that you're going to a reputable surgeon. So make sure you check all of the reviews. You don't want to go by the reviews online that just says, oh, I had a great consultation, I'm looking forward to having the procedure done, things like that. You want to hear about actual patient results and what they experience after having the procedure done, not an in-office meeting, because it's not the same thing. Make sure you're reading the reviews and that the reviews make sense, because also there are people that leave negative reviews and it wasn't because of something that was done bad by the doctor or the surgeon. It was probably something that they didn't do, where they didn't follow the procedures or instructions that they were given, and so they would rather go online and leave a negative review as opposed to taking personal responsibility. So read reviews with wisdom and make sure that it makes sense before you move forward with anything. When you've selected the date, request that you get your prescriptions written out for your pain medications and antibiotics before you go in for the procedure. That way you can go ahead and have those items pre-filled and you can have them waiting for you at home, and that way you don't have to rely on someone to go and fill your prescriptions for you after you've already gotten home from having the procedure done. All of those things are already taken care of, and make sure you have plenty of fluids that you can take. And I also recommend having some really healthy meals pre-made and prepared, and having someone who can help you to have those things heated up and ready for you so that you can eat as well. And this is optional, but you can also get a product called Arnica Montana or bromelain, and I'll have links to those in the description box. But those are natural forms of pills that you can take that are great for reducing swelling and inflammation. And the Arnica Montana is dissolvable little tiny pellets that you would take and you would put it underneath your tongue and just allow it to dissolve. And the bromelain pills, you would take those with water or juice, but you could do either or. You don't have to do both. I actually purchased both, but I actually only did take the Arnica Montana. So on the day of your procedure, you want to go in wearing loose-fitting clothing. Recommended that you do wear something that's button up and loose, and well, they're going to dress you back up, so you don't have to dress yourself, but you have to put your clothing back on after you've had the procedure done. So you want to have something that's loose fitting, so it's not going to be hard to put on and take off, and also it's not going to cause any disruption to the area where you had the procedure done, because you want to keep that area as comfortable as possible and not touch it if at all possible. The morning of the procedure, you want to take a nice shower with antibacterial soap, and you don't want to put on any creams or lotions on your skin. If you wear contact lenses, you don't want to wear them the day of the procedure, so wear your glasses. No contact lenses, and also if you have any body jewelry, you want to take that out as well. Okay, this may seem like common sense, but this actually is something that I should mention. You want to make sure that you have someone who is an adult, who is responsible. Now, some of you may have children that are adults, but they may not necessarily be responsible. So you want to have someone who can take you, wait in the waiting room, and that can drive you back home. So Uber and Lyft are not your friends at this time. So you're going to have to leave those apps on your phone alone, because the Uber or Lyft driver is not going to come in, take you from the surgical center to the car, drive you home, walk you into your house, get you comfortable in the area that you need to have set up for you to stay in for the next week. Okay, so we've talked about all the, for the most part, pre-operative procedures that you want to make sure that you've taken care of before you have the procedure done. So let's talk about what you can expect and what you should have ready and available to you after you've had your procedure done. The first week, they don't recommend you climb up and down any stairs. So if you live in an apartment complex or a condo or someplace that does not have an elevator, but you're on, another floor besides the first floor level, then you may want to consider staying with someone or a relative or a good friend who has a one-level residence that you can just go into the front door and stay in that area that has a recliner, because you're not even going to really recline. You're going to be pretty much sitting up, sleeping for about a week, because you cannot lay flat at all. So no laying flat. If you have a residence where you have, you're not on the first floor, but you have access to an elevator, then that would probably be fine. I have a 2-story residence, so I just stayed on the first floor for the entire week, and I slept sitting up in a chair in my living room, and I had my mother stay with me so that she could take care of me since my husband is away working right now. So it just was my mom helping me, and she was a great help, great assistance. I would suggest you have someone that you trust enough that can take you back and forth to the restroom, because sitting down on a toilet and getting back up, you have to really take it easy and take your time, because you got these incisions that are stitched up. Most surgeons primarily use the dissolvable sutures, so they don't have to take the stitches out. They will just dissolve inwards over time. So you want to be extremely careful that you're not tugging or ripping at that area, so that you're not causing anything to go awry with the area that was stitched up. Okay, again, this may go without saying, but I will say it. You don't want to have any alcoholic beverages. You're going to be taking medication, so that's just a no-no. No laying flat. You're going to need some pillows to help elevate your head, to keep your head elevated, and also to keep your legs elevated. Again, I slept on a recliner, so even though my recliner was reclined somewhat, I had pillows behind me, so I felt like I was sitting up the entire time for a straight week. And then the area of the chair that reclines, that lifts the feet and legs up, that kept my legs elevated. Take it easy. You don't want to lift anything over 5 pounds. So honestly, trying not to lift pretty much anything except maybe the remote control if you want to watch television, or some books if you want to read, or your phone if you just want to do your thing on your cell phone, but keeping it light. Nothing over 5 pounds, no heavy lifting whatsoever. It's normal to have some mild or moderate pain because you've just had a very extensive surgical procedure done. So take the pain meds, take your antibiotics and your anti-swelling bromelain or arnica montana that I recommended earlier in this video, but that's just to be expected. So just try to push through it. It wasn't extremely painful. So when I say pain, I don't mean extreme pain, but the discomfort levels, they started to subside, and then, you know, over time it just continuously subsided and then resolved on its own. Okay, so this was probably the most annoying and probably uncomfortable thing for me, and it was the drainage. When you have an abdominoplasty or a tummy tuck, they're going to put a drainage tube in that area, and it's draining out the fluids and blood, and it goes into this little tube, and you can see a picture of it here, but it's got measurements on it, and you're going to have to dump that out as it fills up. You just want to continuously dump it out. And when it gets to the point when it is not flowing up to 25 milliliters of fluids per day, then they can remove the drainage tube. That for me was about a week's time. Actually, that Monday was when I started noticing that it wasn't really filling up like it was filling up before. And then I called on that Monday afternoon to schedule an appointment to come and get it removed. And I was able to go in that Tuesday morning to have the drainage tube removed. And it was like, hallelujah. Sitting there with this drainage tube stitched into this area, it can become really uncomfortable. And depending on how you move, because the stitched area you're going to have covered, and then you are wearing a garment that they put on you that it's cinched really tight. And so for me, that was extremely uncomfortable, having that area just cinched tight with this garment and having that drainage tube kind of pressed on that area. It was uncomfortable. So I was really ready to have that removed. So I was so glad when that was gone. So we talked about having the area covered a little bit. And so what I actually did was I purchased puppy pads. Yes, puppy pads. Instead of buying a package of maxi pads, I purchased the puppy pads because they're larger and they're less expensive. You get more for your buck, but they're larger, and I was able to just kind of put one folded over that area. And then the garment, I was wrapping that around and cinching that on. So if there was any drainage or maybe a little bit of bleeding or blood, which I didn't have a lot of that, thankfully, that would catch onto the puppy pads, and then I would just change the dressing out. I took my first shower after having the procedure done a week after. So you're going to have to take some sink baths for a little while. And it's okay because I wasn't going out, I wasn't going to work, I was at home, so I was still keeping myself clean, but I didn't have to expose myself to other people. I was in the house actually for 2 weeks. I do recommend taking at least 2 weeks off of work, at least 2 weeks. Some of you may need a little more time, and then some of you may feel like after the week, you're good to go. But I just don't recommend it. I feel like you should give your body enough time to continue to heal and to continue to rest. Okay, and finally, you want to get up every few hours and just take it very slow and have someone walk with you, but just walk around the area. You don't have to walk around the entire perimeter of the house, but I got up every couple of hours and I just would walk a little bit. This is just good to keep your blood flowing. You don't want to sit in the chair for a full straight week and only get up to walk when you need to go to the restroom or go to the kitchen. You need to slowly get back into exercising, and slowly, as your body continues to heal, start back into some very light exercises. I started doing very light exercising about 4 weeks, I believe. after having the procedure done. So you just want to take it really slow, take it really easy, and just doing some very light exercising and getting back into the swing of things so that your body doesn't feel like it is breaking down a little bit, especially if you're somebody who's used to working out on a regular basis. And if you are someone that's not used to working out on a regular basis, then I definitely recommend that you start getting into a light workout, because having a tummy tuck done is not a shortcut to getting a tight body. It is just for removing excess skin, excess stretch marks. It's not even for getting rid of excess fat, because to be honest with you, if I had the excess fat, which I did not, then the surgeon said he would have recommended having liposuction in conjunction with having a tummy tuck. But because my abdominal walls were already tight and I didn't really have the fat, for me, it was just pretty much excess skin and excess stretch marks that no amount of exercise would ever get rid of. That is why I did not need liposuction. So you definitely want to start taking care of what you invested in having done surgically by getting your body into a routine of working out, eating healthier. I'm not saying you have to completely eliminate every good and gooey thing that you enjoy eating, but just don't eat those things all the time. So that's my recommendations for before and after having this procedure done. So now let's just get into what I'm looking like as of today. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so you can see this is what it was before I had the procedure done. And again, I didn't have the fat, but I definitely had the excess skin and excess stretch marks. And when I say excess, I definitely mean excess, because my stretch marks just went far beyond anything that I could really conceal. So it was the best option to have this procedure done for me, and it was a long time coming. So I'm glad that I finally got it done. So let's show you the after. Now, it's not perfect, because honestly, there is no type of procedure that is going to make things absolutely perfect. So if you go in with that mindset of not expecting complete perfection, then I believe that all in all, you will more than likely be satisfied. And I have to say that I am satisfied. So this is my after. As you can see, I still have some stretch marks, but I don't have as much as I used to, because there was a lot that was cut away. And even with a lot being cut away, I still have the stretch marks. And I, again, didn't go into it thinking that it was just going to completely eliminate all of my stretch marks, because honestly, that would have meant they would have had to cut away pretty much my entire abdominal area. And that was just unlikely that they would ever be able to do that, because having that would have meant pulling this all the way down, and that is just not going to happen. But I still have a little bit of swelling. Honestly, swelling, you can have swelling for about a good year after having the procedure done. So I'm still experiencing a little bit of swelling, but even with the little bit of swelling, I've breathed out. It's still, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to show you my incision. My incision is a little bit darker, so I've got a prescription for hydroquinone, and that's going to help to lighten this up over time. But it's hidden underneath my panty line, so it's not a huge deal for me. I still have some numbness in this area, so even though I know that I'm touching this area, I can't really feel it. So the feeling from this area to this area is not completely there yet, and that could take some time. They said the feeling or the numbness could go away. There's just no way for them to tell you when the feeling will come back, if it even comes back at all. But I've still got the feeling up here and down here, and all of that. So it's just primarily this area here. So that can be a little annoying if you feel like a little itch in that area. Don't scratch yourself, because if you're numb and you're scratching yourself, you can't really feel how deep you're scratching, and you could cause yourself to become wounded. So rubbing, just using the palm of your hand and just rubbing that area is what I've been doing, and that's what I recommend, instead of using your fingernails to scratch, because it's numb. Even though it's numb, you can feel if it's itching, and it's weird. I can't even really explain that to you guys, but yeah, these are my results after, and I am pleased. I am still going to continue to work out. I'm still going to continue to take care of my skin. I am really happy that I went forward with it. I hope this video was extremely helpful to you, and if it was, please leave me a comment. If you're considering having this procedure done, please leave a comment below. And if you've had this procedure done, leave a comment below and let me know how you dealt with it. Let me know what you went through. Let me know how you handled everything. But I would love to hear your stories, love to hear your comments, look forward to your feedback. And this is Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next video.